Hey, what's going on, guys? Aarava here, and welcome back to my F1 2017 Career Mode, episode number 134 today for the Singapore Grand Prix in Season 7. If you did miss the last episode of this series, then be sure to go check that one out before you see this one, uploaded 1 week ago at the Italian Grand Prix. Quite a hectic one, for very obvious reasons that I won't spoil, but yeah, a lot of action in that one. So we come here to Singapore, which could be quite a stark difference in terms of action, but also the difficulty and the actual performance of our car. Obviously, in real life, the Mercedes car doesn't go too well around Singapore, and in the game actually it's a lot like that. I think we'll be seeing Red Bull really be good around here, even though they really haven't been, you know, right up there this season. They've been steadily improving. Of course, last episode right at the end we saw they moved up into third in the Constructors' Championship ahead of Renault, which is very surprising because Renault, pretty much with Hülkenberg, have been right there as our rivals this entire season. To now see them down in fourth is very odd and surprising. I guess the consistency just hasn't been there, and it has been for Red Bull. And so going to this next race, I suspect the two Red Bull cars will be performing quite well, and we'll have a good opportunity to maybe go for a podium here, along with maybe the Force Indias, who might be there, although they might be a little bit on edge with the downforce, but we'll see how that goes. I haven't really mentioned Ferrari, which is surprising, because usually you would say they go all around here, but that's just how bad the Ferrari car has been this season, and obviously last episode their bad luck continued, so I suspect really it's going to happen again, because it pretty much has happened for the last 10, maybe all the episodes so far this season in Season 7, so we'll see. But we move into qualifying then on our flying lap under the floodlights now in the night sky for the Singapore Saturday. Come across the line there, it's only P6 at the moment. We gain a bit more time then on our second flying lap through the second turn. We had a bit of an issue going a bit slow out of the exit on the first flying lap, so bit of a better exit then on the second attempt, and then gaining some more time middle of the sector, nice and tight as we go into the hairpin. I'm kind of half and half about that section. I kind of missed the Singapore sling, but I love that entry to the hairpin now. And as we come across the line, we set the fast lap in this session at the moment. Went a little bit wide on the exit on the final corner, but it is going to be another pole position for us. And look at that. So myself and Hamilton have pretty much just undone everything I just talked about. I just waffled on about the Mercedes not being good around here, and we just got a 1-2, which kind of just shows how good the car has been, you know, because in the first few seasons, the AI cars of Mercedes were never really that dominant around Singapore, but me and Hamilton then with a 1-2, it's looking good. But you can see there straight away, the Red Bull's right up there, so like I said, that will be something we have to look at. Obviously in a straight line, we'll have the advantage, but in the corners, they may be very good, and tyre wear wise, of course, it's a very long and grueling Grand Prix, so we'll just have to see how it goes. I think anything can really happen, so let's just go to the full grid, and then we'll get into this.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. It's Mercedes in pole position then, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Verstappen, Sergio Perez, and Ocon, Raikkonen, Vettel, Hülkenberg, and Jolyon Palmer, Grosjean, Kvyat, Fernando Alonso, and Massa, Van Dorn, Magnussen, Pascal Wehrlein, and Lance Stroll, Ericsson, and Carlos Sainz starts from the back of the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
So onto the starting grid then for the Singapore Grand Prix. I actually didn't realise just how close Red Bull are. That actually, like, looking at the starting grid there, that really just shows that how good Red Bull are actually around Singapore, how much they gain. If you look back at Italy, how far back they were, just shows you that difference they make and that leap that AI makes specifically as well. I think the AI just are good around here as well. But you can see the strategy, it's a box standard 2-stop, but there's some rain to come at the end of this race, so that's going to be very spicy indeed. So maybe not such a straightforward Singapore Grand Prix, but the first part might be. So here we go then to 5 red lights to the Singapore Grand Prix. Round number 14 of the season is underway, and it's a much better start to the one we had in Italy. We defend to the inside there on Hamilton. Bit of contact was made into the brake zone there, so I felt that on my wheel on the force feedback. So I think into turn 1, I think I broke it too early for Hamilton's liking, and so now he's fallen away a little bit. He's side by side with one of the Red Bull cars. Down the inside goes Daniel Ricciardo up into second place. Hamilton down to third. So that was a bit odd in turn 1. We got the defensive move done, but then I think in the brake zone is where the contact was made. So that's why you didn't really see anything go on the screen, but behind me definitely something did happen. But we got yellow flags, as I think there's an issue for one car, and we're down to 19 runners there. Ricciardo's still second, keeping me honest, and he's within 1 second, and oh my god, no, it's Sebastian Vettel. Oh my god, wow, just laughable. This game actually hates Ferrari right now in Season 7. Like, let me know, guys, in the comments below if any of you guys are doing a career in later seasons that's not Season 1, and if your Ferrari cars, your Ferrari AI are having issues like this, because I say it every time, but it literally is every single episode, without fail. One of the Ferraris has an issue, whether it's a puncture or just a crash that sends them to the back, or they're out the entire Grand Prix. It's just crazy. It's crazy. So, yeah, Vettel out of the Grand Prix. So that's one less Ferrari for us to worry about, getting ahead for reputation's sake. And you can see on lap 5 now, at the moment, just staying ahead of Ricciardo. As I said, he's keeping us honest, to be fair to him, as he's keeping the pressure on, obviously, through the corners. He's very, very good. We go a little bit defensive with the hairpin, because he actually has a little look around the outside there, and we go quite early on the brake to go to defensive, and that actually allows Hamilton to send it down the inside. So a bit of tactical braking there from myself, actually, I'm not going to lie. You know, he was putting me under pressure, you know, that's real, but I did go a little bit early on the brakes because I knew he would try and overtake around the outside potentially, and that's exactly what I wanted to happen. Hamilton sent it down the inside then, saw the opportunity, and now it's a 1-2 from Mercedes there, and now I have a teammate as a buffer rather than a Red Bull hounding me in the corners. You know, I know what Hamilton's capable of, I know what that car is capable of, and so on to lap 10, we're going to come into the pits, and we're all fine for first, just about. You can see they're skating literally opposite lock, mid-corner into the pit lane there, so nice little gymkhana into the pits, but we're in nonetheless, and we're on to super soft tyres now, and no one else is opting to join us. So I think me and Hamilton went a lot longer in that Grand Prix. I think the Renaults and Red Bulls have all both been in and out of the pit stops there, so I think we might have lost some time, obviously, with the undercut being pretty good around Singapore. Obviously a lot of tyre wear, so you would expect the new tyres to perform a lot better, and you can see there some Renaults going past on the ultra soft tyres, so I can't tell really. There's the Red Bull though of Daniel Ricciardo. He for sure has already been in and out of the pits. I'm not too sure about the other guys, but Ricciardo for sure, that's the only person I can guarantee has been in and out, as well as Max Verstappen. Verstappen on the super soft tyres with me, Ricciardo and ultra, so Ricciardo trying a more aggressive strategy here this afternoon, or night I should say, the Singapore night race, so I'm just too used to saying afternoon, but yeah, so split strategy for the Red Bull guys, and so Ricciardo closing up to Hulkenberg now on ultra soft. So this is why I can't tell if Hulkenberg's already made a pit stop or not. I doubt it, because obviously me and Ricciardo were right up there in the top 3 positions, so I think that's how bad Renault have been now, from Italy to now Singapore. That's how bad they are. We've already caught Hulkenberg back up after our pit stop, and Hulkenberg now gets overtaken by Ricciardo. We're going to try and make it happen as well as we open DRS as we go down the back straight with a kink on the right hand around the outside. Then it's very, very close. Bit of contact almost made there, but not quite. And a little bit of shimmy and shake. Fiat out the Grand Prix then ahead of us in the Toro Rosso. We do get past what used to be our main rival. I guess now our rival is technically Sergio Perez now, because he's the one in second. Hulkenberg's quite a few points away from us. So yeah, very, very odd one. You know, we've had Ferrari all season long, but Renault have been that one where I really thought they'd go the distance, because a lot of seasons before, remember, it was always Renault that wasn't fast at the beginning, and then they picked up pace right at the end and were really good at the end, and you know, leapfrogged some teams at the end of the season, the constructors wise. Now it's the other way around. Renault started off really fast, and now they're slow, and they're getting leapfrogged by other cars like the Force India, obviously, from last episode. So yeah, odd one how that's gone, but I'm kind of liking that. I like the ebb and flow. Obviously we've been pretty stable here at Mercedes. You know, I've been doing the job. The Merc car has been pretty, you know, solid, I would say, you know, minus some races where it's kind of been a bit more of a diva like it was in the previous season. So it's kind of nice to have the AI at least having a bit of ebb and flow there, which is always tricky in the vanilla career mode with the base game. Sometimes that doesn't really happen. But as we move through up into P4 then, still chasing after Ricciardo, who's getting held up now by some traffic, and so that's allowing me to stay with him. I kind of unfortunately think that if the traffic wasn't there, if Jolyon Palmer, Ricciardo really would be waltzing away. And now onto lap 14, you can see a bit of rain coming down now, and we make a huge dive bomb, a Ricciardo dive bomb on Daniel Ricciardo. The dive bomb of the century, in fact, really, to be honest, from that far back. Still trying to go side by side with him, and there's definitely some rain or dirt or whatever it is being kicked up onto my screen there. I think it is a bit of rain. I think it's slightly, few droplets there, because the grip is a little bit iffy sometimes in the corners, but that might just be some dirt as well, away from the back end of Ricciardo and Palmer's car. I can't quite tell, because the rain was meant to come at the end of the race, not so early on, halfway through the race. As we go through the last corner, finding good grip through there, Palmer's in, and we are now up into P2, Ricciardo in P3, Perez is in P1. Perez, I don't know. Is Perez trying a very weird strategy? I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. Force India obviously known to be very good on tyre wear, so Perez might have been trying something, but alas, that's going to go. That theory's gone out of the water, because actually, as you got Verstappen, I think that was retiring, we're back into first. Raikkonen's in P2. Yellow flags, and a full safety car has been called out then. Hamilton P3. Looks like Ricciardo has already made his second pit stop. So Ricciardo pit early for his first pit stop. He's done the same for the second, and in doing so, he might lose out, because obviously we might extend the life of this tyre under the safety car here, and so that might play into our hands, as well as Hamilton. We'll have to see. But Perez is in second now, and he's really found his way in there, because I think Hamilton and Raikkonen pit, or at least Raikkonen did, so Perez has found his way into the podium. So the Force Indies weren't looking too good in that race beforehand, but now they're looking right up there, at least Perez is. So the safety car is now going to come in, and obviously we become the effective safety car, so we're really backing up. We're going to try and get the best exit we can here, and now we're going to bolt a little bit early, and we've definitely caught Perez off guard there, and through the last corner then, looking behind us, Perez is way back there. So really good restart from us. Eventually on lap 25, you can see the rain is coming down quite a lot, the spray's coming off the tyre, and it's time to come in for the intermediate tyres there. But you can see Hamilton is forced to continue on, so that's my bad, but obviously I get first preference, and unfortunately the AI aren't clever enough to come in a lap earlier to preempt maybe, and so we come in, and it looks like a lot of us are kind of early adopters of the inters, but really I think it's just a case of all the first drivers on the track are going to come in. We get held up a bit there, which I was very worried about, but then I realised, actually, to be fair, a lot of these drivers are going to get held up, and so as we come down the pit lane, you can see the Red Bull car behind me is going to overtake Perez, so I think that might be Ricciardo. So once again, Ricciardo is going to be behind me in this Grand Prix, and it's going to be effectively, I think, me and him in 1-2 once more, as unfortunately Perez's all his good work on the tyres and his luck with the safety car is taken out with the unluck he got, that's not really a word, but the unlucky circumstances, that's it, in the pit lane then, because his team is in the middle, so he gets held up by a lot of cars, whereas obviously Ricciardo does not. I don't as well, and neither does the Ferrari, so that's why you saw there the Ferrari was also just behind Ricciardo ahead of the Force India car. So now we move on to lap 26. You can see literally full opposite lock in the last corner to control this car, and now it's just a case of skating around the Singapore Grand Prix till the end of this thing and trying to survive Singapore basically, and not put this thing in the wall ahead of Ricciardo. And we're going to take it nice and easy. Obviously in the corners Ricciardo has the advantage for sure, but on the straights I have the advantage 100%, even on the inters. You can see here just easy on the traction out of the corner, but then as we look back behind us with Rich Mix, we are literally just walking away from Ricciardo. So that is what's going to win me this Grand Prix, as we now come through to the last lap and the last couple of corners here. You can see still going gingerly quite slow through the corners. It doesn't matter though, we've had the pace on the straight, and that's ultimately what has won us this Grand Prix. So as we come through the final corner, we're going to get the checkered flag and confirmation of first place. As the fireworks go off here in Singapore, it is a win at the Singapore Grand Prix, and another win to add to our tally of multiple wins this season. A lot more wins than we had last year, and I think probably the most wins I've had in one season. Definitely has been my best performing season so far, and obviously a lot of that is due to being spurred on and kind of out of spite in the first half of the year of not getting the contracts, and now I'm just focused on just doing the best job I can, because I just want to get to the end of the season and hopefully get the championship, but just to kind of rub it in Mercedes' face of kind of like, I don't want to be here, but I still won the championship in your dog of a car some races. So yeah, decent stuff there, and all in all, pretty straightforward-ish Singapore Grand Prix. I mean, it could have been a lot worse. We could have got really caught out in the safety car, could have got caught out in the inters. So, you know, despite what could have been a very topsy-turvy Grand Prix on the indicator on the race strategy, pretty straightforward for us, actually, and probably more so topsy-turvy for Hamilton. But you can see they're extending the lead in the Drivers' Championship, and the Constructors looking good. No changes this time around for Force India, Red Bull, or Ferrari, or Renault, indeed, there in the Constructors, and it's still Perez second and Hulkenberg third. So, guys, if you have enjoyed that episode, hit that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. At the end of this episode, we tried once again to look at any upgrades, but again, just not enough points, and really not enough points for worthwhile upgrades that I wanted to get. So we're going to hold station. I mean, there's no rush. Clearly, our car is still very, very fast, so I'm not going to rush into anything I don't need to. So we're going to wait till next episode, potentially, to get some upgrades. Hopefully, by then, we definitely will have enough points. So till then, guys, hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Do get subscribed if you are new around here, by the way, for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.